Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have President Gello receives special representative of the Secretary General for Somalia. The opening ceremony of the 2021 Express Cutlass exercises between Djibouti and AFRICOM. For the national scene, flames still ravaging Oregon and California. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, received in his cabinet late this morning the special representatives of the Secretary General of the United Nations for Somalia, Ambassador James Wan. The President welcomed the special representative of the Secretary General for Somalia, James Wan, a diplomat well known in our country. The meeting was part of the consultations conducted by the ambassador with the senior Djiboutian officials, including President Guelleh, to discuss the situation in Somalia. The discussion focused on the Somali issue and in particular on the political development and the electoral process in Somalia. The discussions were intense on the May 27 agreement signed by the Somali authorities and representatives of the Federated State of Somalia. The United Nations state regions support this electoral process, which is expected to take place at the end of the year. So in an interview after the meeting, Ambassador James Wan stressed that the meeting with the President Guelleh was to exchange and share observations on the situation in Somalia, particularly on the implementation of the agreement signed by the Somalis to implement the electoral process. For his part, the head of the Djiboutian diplomacy, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, has returned to the main topics discussed during the meeting, stating that the Republic of Djibouti supports and approves the efforts of Ambassador James Wan, special representatives of the UN Secretary General, to advance the electoral process of Somalia. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, inspected this morning the medical oxygen production plant located in Balbala. This inspection visit follows ministerial directives to ensure sufficient and quality of oxygen production is due to the threat of a possible new wave of COVID-19. Indeed, in order to prevent any eventuality, the Minister of Health inquired about the routine maintenance works as well as the good functioning of this oxygen plant, which produce a little more than 1,000 bottles of oxygen per day. During this visit, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, demanded the exemplarity and diligence of employees and technicians working in this oxygen production plant, especially in terms of safety, monitoring the quality of oxygen produced. Still on the subject of the last night's rainfall, ONIAD mobilized its technical and material resources early this morning in order to relieve traffic congestions and improve traffic conditions. So, in order to follow closely the realizations of the Minister of Agriculture, Mohamed Ahmed Awale, went to the most affected sectors of the city, accompanied by his close collaborators, including the Acting Director General of ONIAD, Mr. Ali Yusuf Geddi. The Minister attended in person the installations of the water pump. This means will be used to irrigate the most flooded roads as soon as possible. For medium roads, ONIAD's tankers were sent to empty the water from the rain. For several days, the Republic of Djibouti knows a grey climate predominated by a windy weather. Thus, last night, the capital has experienced a rain shower accompanied sometimes by a burst of wind and the sea little. According to the engineers of the National Meteorological Agency, the weather is expected to be mild. However, in some working-class neighborhoods and downtown Djibouti's capital, this situation plunges city dwellers into the evil of always, thus awakening the specters of flooding. This mode of rainfall is characterized by abrupt beginning and with rapid variations in intensity, has given the responsible of the weather agency said that some inconvenience in some parts of the city located at very low altitude, in addition a few dozen kilometers to the southeast of the capital, flooded rivers blocked traffic on the National Road 2, forcing drivers to stop. However, according to the weather forecast, and the responsible of this institution said that this cloudiness will be variable to abundant, and the sky will be punctuated by new showers, sometimes quite intense and potentially accompanied by wind. Under the high patronage of the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, the Djibouti Coast Guard, the National Navy jointly organized the opening ceremony of the Cutlass Express 2021 exercises at Camp Dorale. The 2021 editions of Cutlass Express gathered this morning at Camp Dorale several regional international military officials. The General of the Djiboutian Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, was welcomed by the Colonel of the Coast Guard, Wais Omar Bogore. Then the General of the Djiboutian Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, reviewed the troops composed of the Djiboutian Coast Guard and the National Navy.
warwalba geeska cadowga goobe gibirsanayne lagu gamay waxaanahay gaardaykood.
The Naval Training Center of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, located at Camp Dorale, hosted today the opening ceremony of the 2021 editions of the Cutlass Express exercise. This large-scale annual exercise led by the U.S. Army Command in Africa, AFRICOM, which takes place simultaneously in Djibouti, Kenya, brings together naval forces and coast guard from countries in the regions and international partners. It aims to strengthen the means of cooperation and collaboration in the fight against piracy and maritime terrorism and all illegal activities threatening the security, safety of the sea in the Indian Ocean, the Gulf of Aden, Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The ceremony took place in the presence of Jonathan Pratt, Ambassador of the United States of America to Djibouti, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, Commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, Colonel Ahmed Jama Daher, Commander of the National Navy, and officers representing the force of friendly countries stationed in Djibouti, as well as the Mayor of Djibouti City, Fatuma Awale Osman. Colonel Ahmed Jama Daher, commander of the Djibouti Navy, the National Navy, underlined in his speech the importance of the Cutlass Express exercises.
To address today this opening ceremony, Cutlass Express 2021. Djibouti has been a hub for the exercise since the beginning of the exercise. I would like to thank all the attendees in this exercise. We are Djiboutian become very active in this exercise because this is a political will from the Djiboutian government for maritime security in particular and regional peace and stability in general. For example, anti-piracy operation off the coast of Somalia, Djibouti is playing very important as a logical hub. Our forces are representing African Union Stabilizing Force in Somalia since 2011. In this regard, Qatar Express objective aligned with the promoting maritime security and safety to keep sea line of communication open and free. In this occasion, we can test regional state readiness to tackle the challenges they will face in like piracy, terrorist, and illegal trafficking. Republic of Djibouti is a coastal state. Republic of Djibouti is as a coastal state located in strategic position and unstable region. Maritime security is one of the priorities of the government. Maritime security is one of priority as a government and as institution using whole government approach like Djibouti Navy, the Coast Guard, Border Authority, and local law enforcement. We developed several measurements to protect our coast like
Colonel Wais Omar Boghorre, commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, took this opportunity to welcome all participants from countries in the regions and international partners.
Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is always a great honor with a renewed pleasure that we reunite today with the larger family of participants and the partners of the annual Cutlass Express exercise 2021. The 2021 edition of Cutlass Express that brings us together today is a symbolic high edition of a particularly significant achievement given the global situation of maritime security and the safety in the region and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The organization of this exercise in the current situation is an achievement which deserves to highlight it and which testifies the strength of the common will, which unites us today despite the challenges accelerated by the COVID-19. For the first time in more than a decade of existence of the Cutlass Express, the Special Force of Djiboutian Coast Guard and the Djiboutian Navy will participate in the exercise not only in Djibouti but also in Kenya. Thank you for finding for us. This is a welcome development for our special forces who will be able to participate, to take the knowledge and experience and skills in the new area and the new partnership and the new other countries. With the participation of an overgrowing and more than diverse numbers of regional and international partners and the continued support of AFRICOM, Cutlass Express is a showcase that demonstrates the success of model based on cooperation and collaboration to ensure the maritime security and safety.
After the opening ceremony of the 2021 edition of the exercise, Cutlass Express, the officials headed by General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim and Jonathan Pratt, ambassador of the United States of America to Djibouti, as well as officers representing the forces of friendly countries stationed in Djibouti, have visited the Naval Training Center of the Djiboutian Coast Guard located at Camp Dorale. The multiple infrastructures available at the camp of Dorale make this base a multi-purpose platform where most of the important components that constitute the institutions are concentrated. The Secretary of State in charge of sport, in collaboration with the sports complex of Ali Sabih, launched yesterday a summer tournament in favor of the refugee of Ali Adde. This tournament, which will run for months, will host no less than 10 teams in front of the spectacular and growing enthusiasm of the local public. Yesterday, the team won the opening match 2-1 against its opponent of the day. Integration means mixity. Indeed, the conditions to participate in this tournament, the first of its kind, is to gather in the same team migrants and non-migrants. An ingenious idea that will bear fruit in the long run. The launch was attended by the State Secretary of Sport Coordinator, Mr. Ahmed Ali, the director of the region, Yusuf Abdallah, the manager of the Ali Sabih complex, Mr. Ahmed Musa, as well as several officials of and authorities of the locality. For the international scene, climate flame is still ravaging Oregon and California. U.S. firefighters battling 6 new fires on the west coast. This brings the number of the active fires in the region to nearly 90. The most affected areas for the moment remains Oregon and California, which is facing the most violent fire in more than a century. 200,000 hectares have gone up in smoke since July 6th. 2,300 firefighters are working. The violent wind that made the workers of firefighters difficult have calmed down in the last 2 days, and authorities hope to make progress. For now, only half of the flames are under control. In neighboring California, 8 fires are still active, and the rapidly spread flames threaten some residential areas. Thousands of people have had to be evacuated in recent hours. Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency in 4 northern countries. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.